Hey all, it's Empty here. I figured an introduction might help, and I'm gonna probably do some drawing whilst I do it because couldn't think of anything else to be doing. Yeah, uh, introduction to hopefully help me find myself, as well as potentially provide insight into the system to some degree. Don't really know what the plan is here in terms of what I'm going to draw, but there we are. Figure something out, I'm sure. Yeah, okay. In brief, name's Empty, go by its pronouns, a gender, generally take the form of a hollow glass sphere, but also a hollow glass humanoid at the same time, like sort of a blend of both shapes at the same time. I act as a shell for other members of the system in terms of increase comfort in the body by providing a humanoid exterior shape that's not too discomforting to sit inside of for people, and so that can help. You also do a lot of emotional filtering. If you think about emotions as the glass in a microwave that blocks out so you can look inside the microwave whilst it's going, but it stops the microwaves getting out. Yeah, kind of like that. But if emotions were microwaves, and I was the microwave door glass, just not just the door, because yeah, um, I do. So yeah, I act as some level of emotional protector for the system, and as a depression holder as well. Um, yeah. So as I said, the role is there's obviously a shell, depression holder, and emotional protector. I've been around, although not self-aware, from very early on. Self-awareness came a little bit after Discovery, really, when because it took a little bit after Discovery for me to be needed in front again, and without Discovery, I wasn't capable of being self-aware. Like that capability came from Discovery, so like, or you know, I'm sure someone could make the case that we were always self-aware, but I I don't feel like I was, so I'm going to say I wasn't because it's my awareness, and nobody else can dictate when our awareness, when my awareness started to exist, regardless of what they believe or think is possible. It doesn't matter whether it was possible for me to be self-aware before Discovery. I wasn't. So, even though I was around, I wasn't self-aware. Um. Anyway, I don't know too much yet what sort of activities I might enjoy because haven't spent a lot of time out and about in a safe enough space to explore that and figure that out for myself. I'm not used to being in a safe space where I can be more than just there to deal with the most negative emotions, and hide them from the people around us and from people inside as well. You know, and I suppose that's because one of the main things that causes me to come to front is negative emotions in anything more than a on anything more than a very minor level. I will be pulled to front for them so that I can filter them out for the right for whoever's in front, so that they can keep on keeping on effectively, and then I'm just left to deal with that. Um, that's not great, but it has kept the system functional and been important in keeping the body alive as well. Um, yeah, and it's worth, because on the reason why I say that is basically because I'm the one that keeps our other members' externalized suicidality in check, and basically by me being there in front with them, they don't experience that as strongly, and so can keep on and being okay despite that, and not cause serious harm to the body in an attempt to enact the how they feel things should go, basically. Um, yeah. Um, yes. Okay. And there's other people in the system who need me to front to keep them from being, for example, crippled with guilt over some of our history, and quite frankly, they don't deserve that guilt. In my opinion, I they did what they had to survive, and that should never be something that causes one guilt. But it's easier to say that as without being the person that was in those positions where I had to do those things. I was around to a degree a lot of the time because I had to be around to help keep our empathy shut down for a lot of those acts, because you cannot afford to have empathy around when you're doing some of those things. So, I had to be around to keep that shut down, but I wasn't one acting on those needs beyond being there to allow to help allow them to happen from an emotional perspective and not cripple us emotionally. I mean, they did cripple us emotionally, right? I exist. That's to some degree proof of emotional crippling, right? My existence stops us as a system feeling negative emotions enough to heal from them and work through them. So, but then we are also stable enough to actually hold down a job, for example, at the moment, which wouldn't be the case otherwise, right? We wouldn't be alive otherwise. So it could be worse. Yeah, I even had to help out Sedna, our old host, a while back. This is what I mentioned regarding suicidality to a degree. This is back well before Discovery. I, yeah, it's that was less a direct result. Well, it was a direct result of trauma, but not because Sedna, our old host, was particularly being traumatized and pushed into specifically negative spaces and being forced to do horrible things, but more because all that trauma backlashes and causes problems even to people who aren't aware of it, right? And that's where Setna was. You know, there was some amount of trauma from the quote unquote safe life that Setna was living as well, but all of that was relatively minor, so felt less and wasn't really the main cause of things. It was an explanation and acted as an explanation to help hide the real trauma, but it wasn't what what the intervention I was put in place to do was over. I went to front a lot at that time and basically switched around the suicidality mode the depression mode from suicidal and strong on negative emotions to the apathetic type, and have kept holding that depression basically for the system because someone has to hold it, and because I can shut down emotion, I I'm already closer to that naturally, so I'm better at dealing with it. Although I'm still not great at dealing with it. I'm just you know there's no risk of suicidal depression when it's me, and I'm better at coping with apathetic depression than a lot of the rest of the system because a lot of them depend on emotion, right? Feelings. That's how they know they exist, is that separation in emotion and feeling over things between them. And for me, of course, emotions are a thing that I've always been distant to, because that was always my role, was to maintain distance between emotions and their effect on front, right? So anyway, I'm I'm trying to heal from that because, you know, I my current existence is harmful to system healing, right? Because you cannot work through negative memories and trauma and all of that without, if you can't actually go through that memory and actually work through it, right? Because I come to front a lot of the time when more negative stuff comes up at all, it makes it very hard to actually work through any of that in a helpful manner. So I'm trying to work through both not always being pulled to front whenever something negative comes up, and also getting more in touch with emotions. Um, yeah, so that when I'm in front, I don't necessarily block everyone's emotions quite as much. That would be nice. Yeah. Um, Part of that is looking to have more positive emotions, which is part of why I'm doing this. Is I figure this might help me somewhat, or at the very least might let somebody else see what, someone who has an idea that might help me see it, and then hand that idea out. But find out on that one. Just figured it might help somehow, so working on it. Same with the art. I don't. This means nothing to me really. I don't know. This is just lines on a page, but I figured they might. That's art is supposed to help one set in touch with our emotions and be emotional. So I figured I'd give it a try. I'm not like, there's clearly supposed to be a message here. Someone is trying to send a message through the art, but I don't get it. Oh well. Hopefully, it's a positive message. I don't know though. Yeah. Guess if someone has an idea what the message is, feel free to say something about that. And comments are just down below. So yeah. Um. Anyway, yeah. Yes. Something that I have noticed recently, because I've been fronting a little bit more recently, because yeah, and might be of information, might give some insight into what sort of time as to when I was around and when I was shouting, if when we as the system start to dig through some of our memory and figure some of that out, is unlike Cal and Vamps, I don't have a problem with fireworks, which is good because it's fireworks season. And so my not having a problem, somebody in the system not having a problem with explosions and hearing them regularly, right? It's almost nightly at the moment. And also being able to, because I've been near front enough, I can do a lot of the daily normal life stuff to the degree that it needs doing, right? Especially when I'm protect, I'm happy to do that for the body. Okay, it's not my specialty. I specialize on the emotional side, but still, right? I can do this stuff to look after the rest of the system because current hosts cannot. They just can't be out regularly at the moment because of the time of year and you know nightly fireworks. On the other hand, I have a serious freaking problem regarding jumps, being jumped effectively, and seeing people, suddenly seeing people, which is interesting. Like, I don't know where that comes from or why that is, but it's like definitely trauma response level of oh shit, somebody just turned up out of nowhere. And this is something that happens even when the body is like heard somebody coming. Like, we know they're there, front is aware, but not quite aware enough, and then still get surprised. That's always fun. And we're not just talking like a momentary oh wow surprise. It's like full on jump as high as you can when not being at all ready to jump, jumping in momentarily, and heart rate spike, full heart rate spike, near panic attack. So that's fun. Fortunately, that's currently less detrimental because that's happening far less than the fireworks at the minute. So, that's fun. And of course, yeah, you know, despite me being depressed, I do actually care about the body to a degree. Not for myself, but for the headmates I'm here to help protect, right? I care about all my headmates. I want to protect them. Okay, that desire for protection is rather dulled by the lack of emotions or empathy in many ways, but it still exists, and I still want to act on it, even if I'm bad at acting on it, because I'm lacking a lot of the emotional side that makes it easier. You know, I know that looking after the body is important, so I want to do that and help hold everything together and hopefully let somebody else, hopefully let somebody else come coke on front without me around again. Because, yeah, I'm holding things together, but I'm not the best for that, really. Like, I can do it, sort of, but I could do with some support, really, myself, and especially some support from even just somebody sitting in CoCon with me, helping figure out emotions, probably, which presumably somebody was doing this artwork, but I don't know. I don't know who either. I've not got any communication other than here, draw this stuff, which I don't know. Don't know what this is. What's this supposed to be? Why crenellations and a candle? Is that the moon, maybe? I don't know. And a cloud. Like, assumedly there's some meaning here, but I don't know. Anyway, I think that's everything I have to say. So, this is Empty from Sphere System signing out. Do remember to like, subscribe, comment, all the YouTube gumph. I'll catch you all later.